Assistant Christy Hooker, representing Villamadana Academy, representing Japan. Thank you, Madam Chair. $230 million. That equates to roughly 3.26% of the world's population. These numbers represent a lowball estimate by UNICEF of the number of unregistered children worldwide. Yes, worldwide. From the thousands of unregistered ethnic Koreans in Japan, to the millions of children born outside of China's one-child policy, to India, Bolivia, Turkey, Italy, Syria, Bangladesh, the Philippines, Vietnam, Ethiopia, Kenya, Ghana, South Africa, Uganda, Tanzania, and more. This issue is active in many countries. Unregistered. Let's go back to that. The highest risk that faces unregistered children is becoming stateless. Becoming stateless means that that child belongs to no country on the face of this earth. With no country looking out for their basic human rights, it is common for these children to be abused, sold into slavery, sold into sex trafficking, have child marriages, turned into child soldiers, lack access to an education, welfare, and a job in the future. Our proposal is an attempt to take a step forward in solving this problem by having countries register children at their birth and no matter the ethnicity of their parents. This will not only lead to these children's existence being acknowledged and looked after, but will also provide countries with far more accurate birth and death rates and more accurate numbers to base their developmental plans on alongside future economic growth. Thank you.
You will have about 1 minute and 30 seconds for your summation speech. It is now time for technical questions. Are there any technical questions? Please raise your hand. Barton.
Hello, it's Barton, representing Villamadana, representing UAE, Madam Chair. How would you go about registering children who are not born in a hospital, who really may never see a registration area in a lesser developed country?
What this proposal is trying to do is bring people awareness to this issue. We're trying to get countries to acknowledge this as a problem so they can begin taking steps to fix whatever their problem is. Because it's such a widespread issue, every country is going to need something different, and they're going to need to address questions like yours in different ways. So they can later apply for help when they figure out themselves what they need to do to address this problem.
The job of the UN isn't to tell a country specifically how to do something.
Are there any more technical questions? Please raise your hand. Anybody? Or seeing as this author's speech was a speech in favor, we will now have a speech in opposition. Are there any speeches in opposition? Please raise your hand. Spencer.
Me too.
There have to be two.
Please approach the podium.
We'll find David.
We got the corner when I first
Faster.
went in.
And
I cannot believe you were called.
because there were two of them, there is one from,
I got it.
Spencer Cox from the Villamadana Academy in the UAE, Madam Chair. I believe that this bill has some flaws. One, I do not know how you'd approach enforcing this bill. Two, it doesn't seem like I would need this, being a UAE person. It would be like saying, well, these people I don't want in my country are here. I don't want them here, so they should either get out or go find a country to be a state of. This makes no sense to me, but other countries I feel don't want these citizens in their countries either. Because let's say that I have a made-up country and 5,000 citizens that I don't want there come in. Well, guess what? Apparently I have to enroll them in my country? No, that's not happening. I'm done.
Seeing as that was a speech taken in opposition, we will now have a speech in favor. Are there any speeches in favor? Please raise your hand. And we will only have one more speech in opposition after this, so just somebody say something. In favor.
Well, I got this. Where go?
Brent.
Yeah, Brent.
UAE is carrying
Yeah. Brent Schulter, representing UAE, representing the Illinois Academy. Madam Chair, this bill is amazing. Thank you.
Seeing as that was a speech in favor, we will now have our last speech in opposition. Are there any speeches in opposition? Please raise your hand. Schubert.
Matt Schubert, representing the Illinois Academy, representing the UAE. Madam Chair, I'd like to say that sex trafficking and slavery are the main exports of the UAE, and we would lose major revenue if this bill is passed. And I'd also like to say that having no name is the spice of life. And without a name, you can go to many places, and they won't know how old you are, and it's fun for everyone. So I mean, I really don't see the downside in that. So let's
Put your hands up to the shenanigans.
shenanigans.
The time for pro-con debate has elapsed. We will now have time for the office summation speech. You'll have 1 minute and 31 seconds. Starting now.
The United Arab Emirates is up there again, actually. Because the purpose of this proposal is not to make countries do something. That's not exactly how the United Nations works because of sovereignty issues. You can't say, you're going to do this. This is a proposal to raise awareness, to get countries to sign on and agree that they're going to, relook at and figure out how to solve such a difficult, complicated problem as stay with children, what we've been addressing. It's really a win-win win-win situation for all countries involved, for all people involved. There's economic benefits to having more registered state people, citizens, that, in your country because they're working, they're buying things, they're putting money into your economy, and of course, as we mentioned before, there's also the moral benefits that the United Arab Emirates apparently is not concerned with.
Also, you mentioned having 5,000 immigrants that you don't want. Those immigrants will not be the ones registered, it will be their children, and this will help you. You might not want them right then, but eventually it will help you more than it hurts you due to this win-win situation. Also, this is not an enforcement bill. We're not going to go in there and make sure that everyone's following this out. It's just once countries sign on, they will, it's basically saying...
Your time has elapsed. We will now hold voting on this bill. All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye in a normal tone of voice.